Good morning. I wanted to come out to the garden here and share a few things that are on my mind. Hopefully that they are of value to you. You know, all things come to our world through thought. Every business that's ever been started, every building, this very garden has all been created as a result of our thought processes. We wanted to have a beautiful place, a sanctuary where we could come out at the end of a work day, spend a little time with the greenery. And so we created this garden that you see behind me. And it's a vast and a beautiful garden. We have not only the green things that you see, but there are purple trees and lavender trees, and there are flowers and bushes with flowers. And it's just a place that my wife and I created where we could come out and feel the peace that surrounds us in this garden. But everything that we have comes from thought. Even Shakespeare said, "There is nothing either good or bad, but that thinking makes it so." And if thinking makes it so, then perhaps the only thing that we have in this world are the things, and the things that we believe are good or bad are the things that we have created in our own mind. But that thinking makes it so, as Shakespeare said. So why not think of good things? Why not bring positive things into our life? That's the thing that's most important. If we can bring positive things into our life. Not only is thought an important thing, and it brings everything into our world, but it's also the source of all wealth. If you think about wealth, wealth is created as a result of somebody's idea that they put into a that they manifested into a product or some sort of solution to somebody's problem. You take, for example, a washing machine or a vacuum. Those are common everyday items, and yet how much have they saved time for those of us who clean our clothes and clean our house and do the other things that we desire so that we can have more time in our day. You think about work. You know, when I first started working several years ago, all of our work was done on a manual typewriter. I started out as a court reporter, and during those times I would have to make 6 copies. And in those 6 copies I had copy paper between each page. If you made a mistake, you'd have to go back and correct 6 copies. It wasn't the most productive way of doing things. You got to learn to type quite accurately because you didn't want to have to make mistakes, but it did slow you down a bit. And then, of course, then we ended up with electric typewriters, and now today we have computers that make it real easy to make corrections. And then when you get your final product, you can simply print 6 copies if you need 6 copies. The wonderful thing about the computer age is that typically we don't have to print anymore, we simply send it. And it makes life a whole lot easier. And so life certainly has changed, but these ideas that I'm talking about that has made our life easier, that has given us more time, those are the kinds of things that create wealth. Wealth isn't something that just happens, and there's not a limit on it, because every new idea can create new wealth, and wealth can increase over time. You think about what has happened over the last 100 years. We have gone from a horse and buggy period in our life to where we are flying and driving, and we have the ability to be mobile more than we ever have been. My grandparents have talked about literally going to church in a horse and buggy. I can't even imagine that. That is so foreign to me. And that's because I've grown up in a society where we've always had transportation, good transportation. We can go, what normally would have taken, you know, a couple of days trip, we can pass in an hour or two in a vehicle. If we want to go cross country, instead of taking weeks and months to get there, it doesn't take us but just a couple of hours if we fly. Internationally, same thing. And so the wonderful thing about wealth is that it does have an unlimited capacity if we have an unlimited capacity to think and to bring about our thoughts. And that's my purpose today, is to simply to share with you that whatever you think, whatever you imagine, you can create. And that includes just your life. This wonderful garden, as I indicated, is just a creation of the desires that my wife and I had to be able to find a place where we have sanctuary. Now, certainly we didn't create each bush, but we've planted them in specific places to give variety to our garden, to give color, to give that peace that we wanted to have here in our yard. And it does bring a lot of tranquility. Whatever you create, whatever you think, you can achieve. And if you decide that you want to create some new product, or simply time in your life to be able to spend with your wife and children, all of those things can manifest if you simply create it first in your mind. That's my thoughts today. I'd love to share with you more, and over the next several weeks and months and years, I will do exactly that. I have a lot of passions in my life. I enjoy things like crystals, I enjoy the garden, I enjoy the out of doors, I love to travel. My wife and I love to go places. It's been a bit stifled the last 25 years as an attorney, but my life is changing in such a way to where that enables us to do that. So that's my share for today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you. Goodbye.